Hello all, this is Zimnala coming at you with another dungeon crawling adventure. We're picking up where we left off yesterday. Our human is delving into Magi. That should go pretty quick, we're not going especially far with it. Our sorcerer is going to go all the way up into the 80s and then switch back to warrior, so this is going to be a bit of a long haul adventure. Our Oni is just about done with Barbarian, and then there'll be our Bruiser Warrior taking up the enemies from behind. And our Dwarf is just digging along at Thief, and they're going to go up to about 50-ish, and then switch back for another round of Warrior. So we should soon have two Warriors taking the heat off of our magic casters, so things will go pretty easily at that point. Make sure everything's the way we want it. Yep. So yeah, I'm probably going to go down to the mines and pin real quick using our Magi up front just to get a couple more levels. But at that point, they'll have enough EXP per level requirement that I could probably stick them in the back and let the other ones catch up a little. So that'll probably be what that plan is. Because we're not going especially far, we don't have to work too hard to give everyone a chance, so it'll be fine. Let's get some basic stuff on us and we'll be heading in. Won't take us very long to get down there, except for these guys. So when we come back, we're gonna have to get a rowdy, and I'm pretty sure we got some extras in the confinement. But if we don't, we can just run around on 2 and get it. It won't really be that big a deal. If it ever seems like I'm taking things a little easy on these streams, it's because I am. This is kind of what I do in between work and whatnot. This is my relaxation game. So I'm kind of sharing that with you, so. If I like bonk against walls a little bit more than necessary or things like that, that's why. It's just relaxing. I mean, I never really mentioned it, but once you can fly, you can actually just take this stairway down to, like, 8 as well as the use I use for it, which is coming back up. I find it's a lot, like, I like to go through the teleporter down to 9 more, because I'm more often going down than up, but you can totally just walk down to that if you just fly up there. I like the fact that the other one's closer to town, so it's easier to set up. But if you happen to come here and kill the dwarves and you want to go level on a better level, that is a viable way to get deep pretty quick. And it's not too far from the dwarves. But like, if we get a little bit stronger, we won't actually need the dwarves much longer. Like, it'll just be more beneficial to fight on like 16, 17, 18 than any amount of dwarves, because the dwarves are kind of like monsters that are similar to like level 10 in difficulty in EXP, so once you're past the point of fighting on those levels regularly, you're better off just to go deeper anyway. So That's just my stance on that. And once we're down to fighting on like 16, 17, 18, we actually start getting close to solving all of our aging problems, because there's a very rare drop from the undead there called the Blood of Ages that reduces 10 years of your life when you use it. So at that point, we'll be absolutely completely free to just willy-nilly use our Crystals of Mysticism. And then our only requirement will be to whether we can replenish that or not.
Cool.
So that's part of why I've made a stockpile and haven't really utilized a lot of it, is because it will be used when we start doing that more actively. Then we'll have to start looking for them more than anything else. So and technically, if we make it far enough, we can perhaps get the book that lets us just cast it, and then it'll be just open market for whatever we want to do. Once you get that, like, you just have ultimate freedom to choose when and where you go. Other useful spells that we don't have access to currently is teleport. Teleport is the same as displacement, but the way I primarily use it is to go straight up and down, because if you start putting in like the sideways ones, it's very easy to just count off by one. But going up and down is usually pretty safe. You don't want to end up in a rock is basically the goal. Bad stuff happens to your characters if they're rocked. Do not recommend. So what I'll usually do is I'll go through and start designating safe teleport things in annotation on my map, and then I'll go there and use those spots as ways to accelerate my getting up and down from the dungeon. See, I was right. This did end up pinning us pretty easily.
Cool.
I knew it was good for about 20,000 XP or easily, so.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Sure you want to block us? Okay, you're dead. That's what they chose. Alright, let's see if we got ourselves a little rowdy we can grab. I didn't realize I had a dwarven lord sitting in here. See, he's just chilling in here. That's cute. I know I could probably do the search and find it, but I kind of like to browse through and see what's actually kicking around in here, so don't mind me. Indulge.
Cool.
We turned in our quest, got that taken care of. We can get everyone through the fountain. Cool. We can reorganize our party. Now this shouldn't really take too long to get everyone pinned anyway, so we'll just dipsy doodle on back in and make our way down to the usual stop and spot on 15. At least clear the way open for easy exploration, you know? But yeah, we started gaining levels in Sorcerer at least, so that's going to make a big difference on what's going on. So, yeah. Let's get everything all settled for everyone and head on in. And let's see if this lets us actually cast everything that we want to. Because there was one I kind of had to be scarce about, which is this one. I can cast it on 2 characters, and that's fine. And I'll cast it to the ones up front. Because that'll help us if we have an aggressive patch of like wisps. And they are probably the most deadly of the monsters on 15. If I had to explain why, I just say that the mind spells that they cast have an outsized damage rating to them. So for their dungeon floor, they do way more damage than they probably should.
Cool.
Not really an enjoyer of him sitting in the entryway, but we'll deal with it. So what I can show you is another way to get down to 15 really fast. It's actually probably my preferred way of doing it when going through this plan. I just have been a little tentative about our actual strength in dealing with the spellcasters on that floor, but I think we're actually strong enough to pull it off without too much trouble, so I'll walk us down this path. So you might notice this hole over here in this corner. So what you can do is go down this hole, and it leads you right down here to 15. Keep in mind, I also usually teleport straight down from here to get down to floor 17 pretty fast, but that's not our current plan. We're gonna walk our way out to our normal stopping spot, so this is just a really fast way down to 15. You can go across this crossways and it will get you pretty far, but it actually always has spellcasters, so I'm gonna try to avoid that for a hot minute. We don't really need to deal with that, so we're not going to. So, yeah. I'm not gonna require that my elf actually be able to pin unless it happens pretty naturally. They're just gonna sit up front and get more experience and probably
Cool.
maybe a level each time. I'm gonna go when the other characters are largely ready. And this is just right back where we were coming anyway, so it ties in with our other routes, and I'll probably take those for some of our runs just for some easy XP along the way. Because, like, we're probably going to clear out this floor, the floor above that, and the floor above that pretty much most runs. Yep, they stopped fighting us. Good. Sometimes if you leave a room, they'll just stop fighting you, so. Oh, good. Everyone's going to pin at right around the same time. That's actually perfect. I doubt these guys are aggressive. Like, they're not usually aggressive to us, so.
Cool.
I'll save some of that EXP for next time. But now our three main characters are ready to pin. And the other one's ready for a level, so it's good for us. What's that? Yep. Yeah, that's what we want to see, some nice easy levels. Make sure we got this in the order we want them to fight. Yeah, that's probably fine. Doesn't matter. I'm sure we'll shuffle them around as people pin or get close to pinning. There we go. Now we'll take the highway down. Get past that room quickly. Yeah, now we'll probably take the second route down, which that I like, which is that slower one that goes down through 12 and through the wall into the forest. So We're gonna kind of alternate. We're gonna have to probably get like 3 different styles of getting down. Otherwise, we'll be like covering our own trails too much and not getting much EXP along the way. Because the more empty rooms you're running through, like just the slower things go. So. So I've actually put some thoughts to it in the case that I actually get to the end of like the main content with this party. A way to continue to play this again next time is I'll do a solo character, and if I like how this whole playthrough goes, I'll consider like streaming just a solo character, which should be an entirely different playstyle than this one. You have to be a lot more careful with a single character than with a party like this. A lot more spell casting, a lot more just being safe in a lot of ways. But that's a road for a future day. But I've been putting thought into it at least. I guess that's my point. Yeah, and when I get more bells of Qualish, I'll probably make sure everyone can at least cast the spell, so I'm gonna put like at least 1 stack on everyone. That has other benefits to it, like say someone gets stolen from, other party members will have some left over. So the less stacks there are of it, the more likely some of them are to survive any such nonsense. Yeah, see, they're already ready for a level, so I'm just gonna shuffle them around until I have a better idea of who's gonna get there first. Okay, yeah, we can shuffle it around a little till they're all closer. Alright, we're probably close enough that we can just make our way towards there and get the rest of it along the way. Oh wow, just opening that chest correctly gave us 4,000 EXP. That's another thing to note is that just properly opening chests gives a lot of EXP,
Cool.
so that's another reason to actually raise Thief up, is it makes a good renewable source of EXP for at least one character that doesn't rely on killing enemies, so. And here's those hornets we left alive. This should get, hopefully some more of them are there. Yeah, that got all of them. Okay, we are golden and we're right here. Good planning. We still have the hawks for a future time. Like, they make a good source of easy EXP too. But yeah, that was quick, that was easy. One more easy run like that and we can switch off Barbarian. So that's already given us like 6 points into backstab, gave us some basic thieving ability. Enough to maybe not get grabbed from as easily. So, yeah. Give you a little stash of these. There you go. Now that's 3 of us with some bells on us. This also makes it so that anyone can raise people from the dead, not just one character. So, like, you're not reliant on that one character surviving, for instance. There we go. Cool. Now, I didn't really go looking into it. I might be able to update our equipment on this character. Nothing extravagant, just like the first little basic knock up. Like this, I think needs a little bit more. This is like 19. That's fine. Yeah, let's take a quick peek. I'm pretty sure this one's a no-brainer. We can get this for sure. Pretty sure the hat's also not a problem. I don't think we can do most of the other ones, but we can probably get a Nugina glove on us. But yeah, that's a couple of knocks up in a few directions. Now let's see if this gives us enough to cast everything we want. I doubt it. It's probably going to take like another like 5 to 10 levels, but maybe we can cast it on 3 of us now instead of just 2. Every little bit we do is going to bring us closer to what we want. Yeah, we can do 3 now. So yeah, let's do it on you. Do it on you. And do it on you. And we actually managed to start being able to cast this with Magi, so the cost of this got to be a lot less as well. Magi has access to the cheapest sight spells. So, That is one of their useful claims to the game. So we're going to follow a similar pattern this time. We are going to get past these guys, and then we're going to clear through 13 down to where we're at. Although I'm actually think I'm going to change my mind. We probably can get away with just leveling on 15 right away, so we'll take the quick way down, actually. And we'll just go a different direction. And fight less wisps, because we don't want to fight wisps. So we'll just try to be a little choosy in which enemies we actually piss off. But what is nice about the way we're leveling up Sorcerer now is as we go along, our resists for everything are just going to get better slowly. So we'll take less and less damage from the spellcasters, from the demons that cast on us, from anything that tries to electrocute us or poison us. So we're going to have a real diminishing of our unavoidable damage. If there's a layered creature in this corner, that's actually gives us a decent amount of EXP and a good chance at some spell tomes, actually. Because you can always count on being able to kill them. We could probably take 8. I just don't want to fight like 12 of them. They stole some of our healing gems, but we actually haven't needed them very much, so. Yeah, it's another group of these ethereal demons and one of those spellcasters. So there's only one spellcaster and he's sitting up front. He would actually be much more dangerous if he was in the back last row, because you guys wouldn't automatically fight him. Yeah, we could just go through this wall and we're basically back where we started, and we can go a different way up here. So our dwarf has gotten a little bit extra EXP. That's cool. But you'll probably see me incorporating more walking through walls on these ones, as I find it useful for clearing out areas the way I want to. You notice that this place ends in a kind of annoying little corner. Whereas if I switch to getting through this wall, we're back to fighting stuff that can give us speed. So.
Cool. Cool.
And yeah, I could run through some empty rooms to get here, but also I don't have to, so.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
I think I've explained it before, but basically all those items that the tavern keeper like sells for you to buy are just sitting on the ground somewhere in your dungeon that you've mapped. So you can totally just go and pick up items like I have been to clear out that without having to buy them. He just offers a service where if it's on the ground, he'll let you buy it from him so you don't have to go find it. So it's not like he's magically offering you things that you couldn't find.
Cool.
Oh good, another one of these. They do cast some pretty nasty spells, but you do often just kill them immediately. But fighting all these enemies is good experience. They're just a big mob that... What is nice about this floor is it's so easy to get down to it compared to some of the other places. So... And a lot of the mobs are tanky enough that you can just wander around and be pinned without having to clear the whole thing.
Cool. Cool.
And there's just as easily ways down to 16, 17, or even up to like that forest area. Like I can just fly up in that main area and be right there in the forest, so. This is a just really convenient floor. It's a crossroads of many places.
Cool.
How are we doing? Two of us are getting ready to pin. Not sure why the giant's taken so long this time. Last few times he's actually been right on our asses for... Did I see an item to pick up?
Cool.
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool.
Man, they're all over this floor. Ah, someone stole one of the weapons we found. Doesn't matter too much. Let's see. Nope. What is this big group? It's another one of those guys. Oh, it's these things. Okay, these aren't so bad if there's 4 groups of us. We could probably kill them without too much trouble. Zebrats can be really deadly for single characters. For a group of them, not really so much. If you want to fight them with a single character, you pretty much need 300 attack and defense so that not many of them will hit you. That's the magical armor and defense number to survive Zebrats without too much trouble. Otherwise, you better be ready to cast a spell on them as soon as you get and hope that you get them before their round of combat starts.
Cool.
So that gets one of us pinned. The second one's on our tail, so... That kind of sucked. I think we lost a point of hit points too. That sucks. Basically, those are more advanced undeads. They've got a higher chance of hitting you, so... So yeah, this is a bit of a calculated risk. Now, you get plenty of extra hit points along the way, so I'm not going to belabor like a couple points here and there, but still sucks. Now we're ready to pin. This is about perfect timing, so actually we can go this way. So I think what it said we lost was charisma, and that's not too bad, but still the fact that we got our hit points drained, not great. Oh, actually, I just noticed something. When we level it up, we gain some of our lost hit back. Maybe that's what happens. That's actually pretty awesome. If you gain your lost hits back as you gain up side level guilds, that's actually freaking amazing. I hope that is a change that Declan made. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. Because if so, that's great. That would solve the problem entirely of undead draining you. So we have gotten the quest to kill a cutthroat, so we're gonna have to go clear 4 and hope to find one. As I said last time, it's a pretty rare mob on that floor, so it's a bit hit or miss on whether we actually succeed. So if not, we're gonna have to just sit pinned for a bit. So I'm gonna stick them in the back and go clear 4, because it's not one we can actually skip. But the good news is that our barbarian doesn't need to be our main guild anymore, so we can bring our warrior in on this front. And yeah, we got a little bit of a penalty to clear off, but it's really not even significant, so we're gonna just roll with it. But this does mean we can get fully cleared it out again, so we're gonna clear our inventories out, kit them out, and roll on out into Adventureland, because this guy's gonna be a powerhouse in no time. And he kind of already is. He's got the highest attack defense of all of us. So Magi, Sorcerer, and Warlock. Yeah, we can do the gambit to see if this is a new spell for anyone. It will be a new spell for this one. I'm gonna actually give it to the other ones to see if it is for them, because Magi is gonna be a side guild versus like a primary one. Okay, so you don't need it. I'm gonna dip into Warlock to see if that's more useful. Oh, well, give it back so I can hand it over. Okay. Nope, so just Magi. Good. So that'll mean all of them will have that spell. And having more spells does give a side benefit of raising your effective spell casting level, which affects damage very slightly. Your magic ability thing right here, it does affect your damage a little bit. So it's good to get more spells into the pool, even if you're not really planning on using them. So yeah, let's take a look at the bounty, see if we've got anything useful in the lineup. Just look for. Nope, nothing here. We're not gonna get a wisp, most likely. Okay. What is nice is that because we're running around on 4, it's very likely that all the other things we did are going to completely respawn. So we'll be able to approach all of our routes fresh after we run around a little bit. So that'll be nice. And also because we're going to, oh, actually, mulligan on that. Let's get kitted out. So we can bring out our crest. That's a future weapon. So before we actually settle down in, I'm gonna actually look to see if there's actual upgrades to any of this stuff because we just didn't buy because we weren't going to be using it immediately. So this is 109. This is 87. I have to look to see if there's a particular reason to use this over this. That's 15. This is 18. Yeah, I'll take a little bit more defense over the offense for now. I think there's enough offense with our whole party to actually take care of most things, so maybe getting hit a little less while in the group is a good thing. How about hats? We know we just got a fresh one, but let's see where the next upgrade is. So you are at 109. This is a 109 adventure as well. Gray Cloak, 87. You're just straight up an upgrade. Cool. And this is dipping towards the actually largely immune to undead territory that we want. Because, like, this draining thing, this one's 87. This one's only 60%. But the next one, silver, is 82%. And we have to get to 131 for that. There's actually an even better than one than this that we haven't found yet. But this 82% will make things a lot better. So that's the best bracer that we've found, period. This one right here is a lot higher level, but it is an upgrade. This one right now, I think we're getting close to. So 96 will have an upgrade that lets us have a better boot. That also makes it so we automatically levitate. So even if we have our spells canceled that we have cast on us, we'll get an upgrade to our defense on that. I'm sure there are better rings to actually wear that we just aren't anywhere close to using. There is a better amulet that we can wear if we get to 131. Just gives us a buff to everything and is a direct like upgrade to our amulet of health. Yeah, I'll always look to see if anything new's popped in. Nothing too exciting. Okay, we're good. We can head on back in. Go look for our cutthroat. Give ourselves a little flight. Give yourself a little see invisible. And I'm gonna actually take a second to see like what the cost is on some of these better sight spells. Maybe we can just make things a little bit brighter for people. There's a brighter one that we can't quite cast. Oh, there's a person in my chat. Hello, person. How is this person doing? on a quest to find a cutthroat. Normally I wouldn't fight on this fling, but in case it doesn't spawn, we're gonna want to clear everything so that it resets. A cutthroat is a semi-rare thief that can appear on this floor. We have a quest for it for our Thieves Guild. So you have to go find one and kill one, or you can't progress in the guild. It's not an optional quest. So while these enemies are far too easy for me, by killing them, if it doesn't spawn this time through, everything will repopulate and I'll have another chance in like half an hour or so when things respawn. So,
Cool.
well, everything is way too easy. It's what you gotta do to progress. So, besides, people are getting XP. Like our main character up front is probably going to get enough experience for half a level doing this, if not a whole level. So this shouldn't be too bad. Yeah. See, they started at needing 86%, 86,000, and they're already down to only needing 78. So they'll probably get like another 30, 40,000 doing this. Because it's so easy, just the first character, or maybe the top 2 characters will get EXP. So that's the other reason why I put the dwarf in the very back, is because he can't level until he actually gets this quest finished. So the less EXP he gets, the longer that can take, and it won't be a problem. And as soon as I get it, I will immediately jump down to better hunting grounds. Yeah, this game's as much about patience as it is strategy and planning. 'Cause the early quests are pretty easy because you don't have to travel very far, but like a lot of it comes down to knowing where you have to go to get things done, even if they're kind of rare. So like, you don't actually have to memorize this stuff. As I think I've said in a previous video, there's a bestiary inside of the guild that actually records the last place you've seen an enemy. So you can follow that to that floor, and that's probably the right floor to find them on. So while they may be an infrequent spawn, that is the right place to find them, usually. Some monsters are layered. Some monsters are semi-layered.
Cool.
And a layered monster will always be in that spot, whereas a semi-layered one just has a higher chance of being in that spot. Now we've cleared about half of this floor and not found it. This is a rare mob on this floor, so as I said, there's a chance that we don't find it on this clear. So in that scenario, what I would do is I'd actually go back and switch off of Thief until this place respawns, and then come back to it next cycle. And I just level up something else for a level or 2. Or if I have a big penalty, I could do a run where I just work on the penalty and then come back and actually do it when the area I need to clear respawns. But you can't go into it being upset, because, like, it'll do what it does. Not worrying about it's not helpful, so I don't do it. No frustration, just clear. The dungeon does what it wants. Oh, it was flavor text.
Cool.
Oh, here's our cutthroat. We got lucky. So what's nice is that we're actually pretty close to that pathway I told you about last time. So what we can do is go through this wall. Just go right on down. And sometimes these things come in handy to know, is that there's just other ways to get to where you can get good XP, so. Now we can look at our characters, see who can use more XP, and put them up front. Yeah. And we're back in business. Like we never stopped. Oh, we could clear this floor. We really don't need to, so we're gonna just mosey our way towards the stairways and work our way deeper, and maybe a way I don't normally go, so. Let's see how it goes.
Cool.
Now, I did remember that I didn't actually cast all my buffs on everyone because I wasn't sure if I was going to need them, but we can do it just as easily here as the entrance. Okay, so who did I? So we'll cast this on the whole party too, and I think we got it all cast on ourselves. We are golden. Now we just like go over our first way that we came down here earlier and just go down that hole through the graveyard. Yeah, so currently our giant is only using the dagger that we had, but that's because we haven't actually gotten him to a level where there's a better weapon, but we are getting towards those levels, so don't worry, pretty soon we will be there. There's some pretty good swords and a mace that he can use as levels come up. So when we get back to town, we can look at those. There we go. We made it past those guys. Cool. Yeah, they got drained a little bit. That's okay. We can sort that out when we get back.
Cool.
Don't need to fight that big undead group. I'll try to do my best to remember that there is a nasty group in that corridor. Yeah, see, this is why I did cleric for a while, is because now it doesn't matter that we're taking damage, it just matters if it's fatal. We can actually heal multiple, like, health bars worth of damage without having severe problems. Yeah, whether we have trouble with wisps largely comes down now to whether they do, like, lots of spell casting or if they try to melee us, like... That's what makes the biggest difference.
Cool.
And we found a potion. What is this? Just a potion. Oh, we actually got a Blood of Ages already. That's wild. I didn't know they could actually drop on 15. Oh. Well, we're on our way to being able to do what we want that way, so yeah. It's good news for us.
Cool.
So we'll try to get pinned and then see how close we are to this. Oh wow, you already went past your... Okay, so we solved that. So we don't have to worry about Oni getting enough experience to level up, apparently. We're close enough that we can probably sneak another pin in. There's a lot of spellcasters. Actually, they weren't aggressive. We can just walk by them. Also not aggressive. Good for us.
Cool.
Don't need to fight undead. Yeah, so we're hitting the nitty-gritty on this floor from previous clears. I guess we were a little too fast with our cutthroat find. And you can map the square. There we go. So they tried to steal something from one of our characters. I think we got it back. Let's see. Yep, we got it back. They tried to steal our scroll of spells, so that's what having a thief is really important for, is you can keep your items that they've tried to steal sometimes. Sometimes they just smash it, which is really unfortunate. Oh, you pinned already? Okay, we can escape from here. There's a nasty mob. We don't need to deal with that. Okay. That's why I tell myself a couple times you don't want to go that way, and sometimes I remember, sometimes I have to go fight him anyway. So yeah, we can put this in the inventory for future usage when we need it. Because it heals 10, we don't actually have much use for it yet. None of our characters have gained 10 years of age, so it's actually a good thing that we don't have a use for it yet. So yeah, let's fix our stats real quick. So you lost a charisma. We can solve that easy. You lost a wisdom. We can also solve that. Now, I seem to remember that there's a quest for these fumbling globes that we can fulfill from the bounty board, so I'm going to take a couple seconds and find that. Don't remember what it gives, I just remember that it exists. Alright, it was a
Cool.
tree ties of draining, so we can look to see what is being offered for that, because there were a couple I popped in here for, so I think this is the most appealing one. Like,
Cool.
we will need one of these for, I think, cleric quests, so if I want to get cleric on, say, this character as well in the future, I'll need one, so I'll just put it in the confinement for now. That's why I leave some of those useful chains alive, because it comes in handy for not having to go find it myself. But yeah, I'm gonna go run into the other room for a couple of moments. I'm gonna put up a be right back screen. And you guys take care. Okay, we are getting back into it. I couldn't help myself. I had made some delicious shepherd's pie earlier, and I wanted to grab a piece now that it's cooled down. So, I might take a few moments and slow down and eat a couple bites of this, and then we'll head right back in. There we go, those couple of things we lost already fixed. So yeah, this is going to be probably a 2-hour stream, so probably about another 40-45 minutes. Wherever that run ends, I'll probably duck off. I'll probably stream again later tonight. Can't quite cast it on everyone. One more pin on this character and they should be able to. There we are, all settled up for the run. It's one of my favorite sound effects from this game. They're not actually my minions, they're the enemies. The enemies say that when they run away. They're the politest monsters in the game when they just don't want to be around you. If you are very fast, you have a chance of stopping them. But usually monsters get away. It also has to do with the size of your creatures. Like, I've only got one giant creature, but most of my characters are actually small, so they have less chance of blocking monsters. But the opposite is true. If you are big, you also have a harder chance running away or running through enemies. So, if you're big, you can stop them, but I'd actually rather be able to get away rather than be better at blocking them. It can actually be a feature, like, you can always find more enemies to fight. So blocking them's not that important. It's better to not fight the monsters you don't want to fight than kill a couple extra easy enemies that don't want to fight you. They usually don't start running until you're significantly stronger than them. So. And some types of enemies will never try to run. So, things like undead or like slimes, they don't usually try to run. So the enemies you'd want to run really don't even try.
Cool.
So it's really not something you have to really worry about too much. They're not bosses, believe it or not. They are just a harder layered enemy. So they can run. You have to be very strong for them to want to run, though. Like, strong to the point where you really have no reason to be fighting them for EXP. So, like, if you're there, you're just bullying them at that point. Which you're not stopped from doing. You can bully any enemy you want to in this game. They can't go anywhere. Like us, we're gonna bully all these poor bears for a while until we level up. I say we're bullying them. They're really not stronger than them, like, level-wise currently. They just don't do anything that's really dangerous to us either. So it feels like we're bullying them.
Cool. Cool.
Now, there are 2 layered enemies in this place. No, so basically you can level up to 11 different guilds to level 999. So it can take a very long time to max everything out. But the floor 30 thing is actually only in the base game. I believe that the expansion goes down to floor 35 or 36. And is significantly harder. I mean, we're kind of cruising through these floors, but you gotta realize that we're already, so it takes probably like 15 minutes a run, 20 minutes a run, and we're only at level like 50, and we're already halfway through the dungeon. Like, we're fighting on floor 13, 14, 15, so you actually are able to fight on the last floors long before you've maxed out anything, so you'll actually have to fight for longer and longer to level up, which is fine. Like, it's more of like a zen thing at that point. That's why I say this is more of an incremental than most of them, because you can play for as long as you want to and you'll keep getting progress. And even at pretty high levels, there are still certain enemies that have a chance of just ruining your day, so it's never fully easy. Yeah. Although, as I put it out there, I do not have any idea what the new content that Declan put in the game, so all I've heard is that it's incredibly difficult, so you might actually need to level up most of the way to have a good chance down there of not being in trouble. I actually rather hope that is the case. I would love for it to be incredibly difficult. I would actually find that very fun. From what I understand, the base game of this was not really changed at all, so what I remember shouldn't be significantly different as far as the main storyline. From what I have gathered is that there was kind of a semi-abusable bug that became more of a feature in the community. If you finish the mainline story quest, your character used to automatically turn from being whatever alignment they are to being evil, which allowed you to join additional guilds that you would not normally be able to. And that's apparently been fixed, so that's not the case. So I guess in response to that, Declan made it so that some of the other classes have better abilities, so that people wouldn't plan their entire character around being able to say, start out neutral, join thief and warrior and stuff, and then switch to evil and join like ninja, for instance, and have like an additional number of swings. So now things like paladin or barbarian give extra swings better than warrior, and they get like another swing to compensate so that people don't feel as cheated. Just sticking with the main alignment. Because the difference is that warrior can only gain 3 extra swings from leveling up, from what I remember, whereas ninja could get like 5, maybe 6 extra swings. Yeah, the thing with paladin is they can only be good characters. So if your character is not good, you can't have it as an option anyway. So that's why barbarian is also an option, because barbarians can be neutral or evil. So you either get access to paladin or barbarian. It also gave a reason to level up certain guilds now that didn't exist before. Because like a paladin used to be a worse fighter and a terrible cleric. So you are better off just taking cleric and warrior in every sense of the word. But now that they actually have something that they're better at, there's a reason to get them. So I think it's a good reason to have something that they're better at. Because like, for instance, when I was leveling up Paladin, I noticed that I gained the first extra swing at level 36, whereas Warrior didn't gain it until level 50. And that's a significant difference in how quickly you get that. We're already almost pinned. So you know that that pathway I usually take down from the graveyard, that's actually that hole you see at the north part of the map right here, so if you wanted to, you could just jump down that hole using a walk through walls thing and pick up on that pathway while you're on this floor if you wanted a way down, but the stairs are also right here. We don't have to do that. But it was worth noting, I think, that a lot of places connect if you have abilities like Explorer really opens up the ability to path differently. Walk through walls, fly over areas that you couldn't normally. Later on they get teleports. Kind of. Different guilds do get different requirements for levels. So like, Artisan gets the lowest, but Cleric gets the highest requirements. So with with everything like Warrior and Thief being in the middle, so it goes like Artisan is the lowest, then it's Thief, then I want to say Ninja, and it goes from there, like Explorers kind of in the middle, Paladins in the middle. Like basically the more spellcasty they are, the more EXP requirements go up. So that's kind of the way that works. And while I don't really utilize it too much, spellcasters have a lot more utility than you'd expect. Like that cleric does damage about as well as it heals it. I just don't need to use it in a multi character setup most of the time. Now we are going to get down to floors where we do have to think about that. There start being enemies that are completely immune to being attacked by weapons. You have to use spells to kill those ones, so having a good spellcaster is a requirement, not a suggestion. We had to turn in our scroll of Magi. We'll have to go grab another one for our collection. We got pins on 3 of our characters, so we headed back in. Well, you normally only have to make a new character if there's something else you need to do. Like, I will actually add new characters in to see some of the hidden character. So there is a quest that you get at about level 150 or something like that. That's called the Ascension quest that takes place in an area that is outside the normal play that you can only get into during the tests. So in order to map those areas out, I have to make characters that can join those guilds. And none of my characters can join Villain or Ninja. So I will have to make a character that can be a Villain or a Ninja or both. And I'll probably do one that can do both. But I will have to level it up separately. And that's just to get the map mapped. I want it... it's for completion's sake, not for playing. I just want to get those areas mapped and see what's in them for my own sake. So Ninja's whole thing is they get extra swings, a good amount of thieving, but the biggest thing is they get access to these types of weapons here that have a bunch of special attributes. Like they hit a whole bunch of times. Like even the low level ones hit for like four enemies every round. Some of the later ones hit for like 6. So like a character that has like an extra 5 springs will be hitting 11 times a round by level 250. That's absolutely nuts. Like my whole team right now only hits 16 times total. So a one-gun character at level 250 as a ninja is out damaging my whole party. But they have no spellcasting ability. And they can't wear any heavy armor. So they're kind of like a glass cannon of sorts that can only melee. So while it's a great character, as a support character, it's not specifically necessary and actually doesn't really fit into what my vision for this party was. Because the only 2 races that can join Ninja anyway are humans and trolls. So I was trying to largely avoid humans, but I decided on having a single one in. And that one's neutral because I wanted to have someone that could join more spellcasting guilds. So no thief for this group. Also keep in mind that I have to actually drop my elf when I play that other character, because you can't have a good and an evil character on the same team. It will not let them join in the party. That's the other reason why my other 3 characters are all neutral, was so that there wouldn't be any conflicts when it came down to that. So I just have 1 character switch out, not 3 of them. Oh yeah, I could probably switch out some of my equipment on our Magi again. So let's take a hot second and look at what we got. So yeah, we can wear this boots again. Do we have access to our iron one still? Nope. Okay. V19, yep, we sure are. We can drop this guy off and get our Helm of Defense back in here. Yeah, we can go in here. We can drop off this. We can get the better bracers. I'll be off to the races on that character. Pop this back up front. Yeah, we're just popping right along. Another couple easy runs. And we'll be able to cast all the spells we want. Yeah, the whole fact that I use all these shortcuts is the reason why I've got that spoiler warning for people, by the way. Because you largely want to come up with your own paths. You don't really want to follow what someone else does, in my opinion. It's not really in the spirit of this game. So, like, I don't actually recommend following the way people do stuff until you have experimented. It's like I'll use a lot of shortcuts that aren't obvious to people. Like if you watch this, I'll show you exactly what I mean. Like I go right out of here, go up to floor 2, walk over into this room, walk through a wall, take this teleporter down, walk out here. Then I go down through an elevator shaft that's here in the middle of the graveyard and go all the way down to floor 15. So in a matter of like maybe 15 to 20 rooms, I've gone down 13 floors. You don't find that out right away. You gotta actually plan that out and know it's there. And learning the dungeon well enough in order to do that is a good part of the appeal of this game, in my opinion. The game rewards you thinking about things, and planning your moves out. Now the risks of going through here are that you have to fight your way through a certain number of undead, and undead are the ones that can permanently reduce your hit points. So only do it if you're ready, kind of thing. And now we're down here on 15, just clearing away. Yeah, we lost a couple stats, but we didn't lose any hit points. Now, I think I noticed that Declan may have changed the way that draining works. I think when you level up a guild that can't gain permanent HP because it's not the highest, I think it restores lost HP that you've lost to draining. And I'm really curious if that's actually true or just me thinking I saw it. Because if that's actually the case, that's a big improvement over the base game, because like you could just permanently lose out on your hit points if you weren't careful enough. Yeah, we're about on par with each other. That's all I care about. Yeah, I think our resists are getting good enough now that we can probably fight spellcasters on this floor. I may come to regret those words, but we'll give it a try. We could get our shit kicked in, but we've got extra Blood of Ages on hand. We can fix any aging that we get. We can also raise anyone from the dead we need to. There's really no way to tell if you're strong enough for an area other than just go in there and see if they kick your shit in. And that leads us back to here. I keeps misidentifying those as wyverns, but I think they're actually called worms. I just find it weird that they consistently misidentify them. But wyverns are down on floor like 7, 8. There's no way they're wyverns. Gonna have to spin those around a little bit and come back to it. Yeah, I don't want to chase down my party members, so I'm not going to open up ones that just have teleporters in them. Actually, in retrospect, I think I am on this floor. I think there's an area we can only map if I do get teleported into it, so yeah. Let's play risky. Let's try to fail some teleporter ones as we clear this floor. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, this room right here, you can only map the bottom floor of this if you get teleported out into that like void in the middle of this. It's not really dangerous out there, and you just can't get in there any other way to map it out. Like, these are all rails, you can't go through it. It's anti-teleport, so you can't teleport yourself into it. The only way to get in there is to fail a teleport trap that can send you to places you can't normally get into. So yeah, while we're kicking around on this floor, and the next floor we'll see if we can't get ourselves kicked in there. My first go around, I wasn't able to get that party in there. That's why it's not mapped already. Because it specifically involves failing those. These big old slimes can actually turn you to stone. That's there. Called being difficult. See if I can't get a picture of them. There we go. These guys are always good for some easy EXP. Of course, we're gonna have to heal up. So we're gonna move back to the back again. Okay. This might be a case where we can get everyone pinned at about the same time. It kind of looks like it wants to go that way. I think that group of undead that's in that other room is one that's still in there. Yeah. This isn't even the bad group. It's in the next room. This is just another group of undead.
Cool.
I think the other one had like Munsays in that. Some real nasty nonsense in it. I won't fight it unless I have to. If you wait enough cycles, they will change. So you don't have to worry about having to clear it out when it's there. You can just wait long enough and it'll change. That's why we got options, so we don't have to fight the bad ones. once you get to these mid-level floors, you kind of gotta decide which things you want to deal with. If you try to melee too many undead, you'll lose a lot of stats. Whereas if you avoid them, you won't get any of the good loot they drop, so... You just gotta find a balance to dealing with undead that works for you. And as you level up, you eventually get them to the point of not being a problem. They'll always be, to some degree, an annoyance. Or aggravation. Speaking of aggravations, this is when the thieves start actually stealing your items. If you've been, like, even with as high of a raised thief, they still have a chance to steal items. That's pretty regular. And while I can stop it sometimes, it's not all the time. So it's one of those cases that as I level up Warrior, I keep switching back just to keep putting levels into it, just so that it stops happening. There's really no other way to do that than to just keep diving back in and working on it bit by bit. But yeah, I'm gonna push through and get everyone pinned. That's an example of a group we don't want to fight.
Cool.
Yeah, if we keep fighting these groups, we might get some of those mid-level spells that we're missing. Yeah. There's a lot of good undead groups on this floor and the floor below this that are good for getting some decent EXP. If you can deal with all the poison and disease they give you.
Cool.
And just for fun, I wanted to come take a peek at this room again. I always think it looks pretty cool. Let's see, where do I want to see a good sight from? But yeah, this place has always been really neat to me. Yeah, we're totally all set to pin everyone off. Now we're gonna sort off our inventory a little bit, and then I'm probably gonna mosey along. I'll be streaming later tonight probably, but it's likely to be Made in Abyss. I'll decide later when I get there. I think there might be a chance that our dwarf can change its equipment a little bit into something slightly better. We can get back a point of intelligence we lost with that character. We can figure out who else lost something. You lost a point of wisdom. That kind of sucks. This is kind of why when I started this group that my my stats were at items in the star were a little low. It's because you spend a decent amount of your mid game using all of your stat tomes for this. Just restoring like the ones that they've been nibbling away at you at when you fight the undead. So it's kind of a struggle in the middle. Once we get those better cloaks on more people, we'll actually take a lot less of these stat drains, and we could always go back and start hitting like the mines or like the higher floors if we really need more stats. But it's why I've been saving up a bunch of ards. Like it's just kind of a pain you gotta deal with at this time of the level up process. And if we stick it out for even longer than that, our sorcerer will be able to cast a drain resist that's high enough to not even need those cloaks. Because they actually are guild restricted. So that's part of the process. So we needed that. Oh, actually, you can use a whole Ard, to be honest. Forget learning, let's give you an Ard. You got 3 stats down. So get your wisdom up. Fix up those. We are golden again. Let's look at the bounties, see what's shaken. Nothing that we need currently, but we'll just get those as we go along. So put away our monies. Combine up our mysticism. Cool. I think we are golden for next time. I'll find out if our equipment can get better. So I think we can get a better set of boots on us. 33. Oh, absolutely. And that means I think also the bracers are the same, but let's not get too far ahead. Yep, that looks correct. Cool. There we go, a little better on that. But yes, thank you everyone for watching. I will catch you guys next time. You have a great day.